Welcome back to Mid-Cap Radar. Well, dbcorp just posted its Q3 set of results, a slightly muted set with net profit and margin both declining on a year-on-year basis. To discuss this and the outlook going forward, we are joined by Girish Agarwal, Promoter Director at dbcorp. Good afternoon, Mr. Agarwal. Thank you so much for joining us. First up, give us a sense of how exactly ad revenues panned out. We understand we are coming off a much higher base last year on the back of election spending. But how has Q4 shaped up in terms of ad revenue, and how was Q3 too?
So if I would see the 9 months, I'm happy to bring to your notice that we have done the highest ever top line and bottom line in the 9 months since the inception of the company. Last year, as you know, 3 states were under election in our markets, MP, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. So because of that, this quarter, we have a 1% growth only. But if you look at 9 months base, I think from 9 months this year and 9 months last year without the election, I'm at a double-digit growth on that way. So I think that way, business looks comfortable. I think my larger concern is going forward, because if you see this quarter, the India GDP is 6.4. I'm slightly worried on that, because if this quarter continues like that, then I'm sure all the industries would show a slightly muted results, and that will impact on the advertising directly.
Mr. Agarwal, good afternoon. Thank you for joining in. But since you mentioned about the GDP growth, how is the current quarter shaping up? It's still early days, right? But what are you expecting in the fourth quarter? Do you expect this current growth rate to sustain? And what is an overall growth estimate that you have for FY25?
So, on the advertising front, the automobile, real estate, education, FMCG are doing decent. They are doing pretty decent, I would say. But government advertising is fluctuating. And I hope they continue this way. That's one. Second thing, one best thing happening for the industry is the newsprint prices have come down. Like if I compare my last year and this year, 9 months or even 3 months, I'm down on the newsprint price on a 3-month basis around 5%, on 9-month basis around almost 10%. So I think that is providing a major respite to all of us.
Understood that. Mr. Agarwal, so margin improvement aided by lower newsprint prices is something that we understand. So Q4, can we see sequential improvement, and FY26, can that improvement sustain? Any guidance that you could quantify for us?
I think on the Q4, as I say, we're already in January, and I'm not yet seeing major response or rebound coming from various categories. So now let's hope what the budget has to say in the next 10 days' time. Based on that, I think your 26 also will get clarified.
Mr. Agarwal, it may not necessarily be a business question, but in the early days, every time somebody would wake up, the first thing that they'd pick up in their hand is the newspaper. Now, the first time they wake up, they see their phones to check the news. The newsprint business for you continues to remain soft as well, right? Even though you mentioned that newsprint prices have come down, the digital business continues to grow. How much is digital now a part of your business? And do you see this as the new normal going forward as well?
First of all, I would like to correct you. People do get up and check not the news, check up the WhatsApp, that what their friends has to talk about. Okay, family, everything is all right or not. For news, I'm happy to say almost all my readers, those who are reading us every day, are very much intact. There's a reason why time spent of our newspaper and most of the newspaper stays there. Having said that, are people reading news on digital also? Yes. So in the morning, they're reading newspaper, and during the day, they are reading a digital. So I think this combination will continue. But at the same time, I guess all the newspaper organizations need to ensure that they offer more quality, more in-depth research to the readers, so that the habit of spending that 35-40 minutes in newspaper continues.
So what's the newsprint to digital mix right now, Mr. Agarwal, for you?
95% of my revenue comes from newspaper and the radio. Digital is hardly anything.
Mr. Agarwal, one question which we want to ask you is FY25, in terms of circulation, will you see growth? Would you be able to quantify the growth? And going forward, what is it that you're targeting? And what are the key triggers to go ahead and drive circulation growth?
This year, the growth has not come, but you rightly mentioned that now the time has come since the newsprint prices have gone down. So we as an organization are running a huge readers scheme. Like we are running a current readership scheme for motivating our readers, the fringe readers, the casual readers to come back, read more. The prize is worth almost 14 crores is being offered to the readers. Every participant gets a prize. Idea is to create excitement in the category. See, one thing what is happening, if you see as a consumer, every possible category offers me some excitement apart from the product or services what they give me. So we realize that maybe in our category also we need to do that. So I guess all the newspapers, because of the newsprint prices down, we have the ability to offer that saving back to our readers. I'm sure we are going to do that.
One final question from mine, Mr. Agarwal, is on margins. They improved from the previous quarter, but year on year, they're still slightly lower. With newsprint prices coming down, do you see them trending back to normal levels? What's the outlook there?
At a 28-30% margin, what are you talking about here? We are already sitting at 28-30% margin. 1% here and there doesn't make much of a difference.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for joining us, giving us a sense of how business is shaping up, and we wish you all the best for 2025. Well, now as we slip into a short break, here's some good news for our viewers. India's business news leader is now just a click away. Introducing CNBC TV 18's all-new app. Get instant access to breaking news, in-depth articles, and financial world updates at your fingertips. Download the CNBC TV 18 app now from the Apple Store or Google Play Store, or just scan the QR code on your screen.